This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. I'm sat recording this video in mid-November, but it's going to be going out on the 17th of December, a week before Christmas Eve, if you like, when festivities, I imagine, will be starting to ramp up a little bit. About this time of year, I always like to do a pair of videos that are sort of companion videos to each other. One talking about the best gear that I've reviewed in the previous 12 months, so the best gear of 2024, and that was supposed to be this video. And another video which is kind of the things I'd like to, the guitar-related things I'd like to see happen in the coming 12 months, so what I'd like to see happen in 2025. And that was supposed to be next week's video that goes out on Christmas Eve, but the problem is I shoot these videos well in advance, not always in sequence, and the Monday the 23rd video that's going to be going out, I mentioned that, and tomorrow I'll be running through my favourite gear of 2024. So my favourite gear video will be going out on Christmas Eve, and today, December the 17th, as far as you're concerned, we're going to be talking about the things, the developments, the guitar-related shenanigans that I'd like to see unfold in 2025. Starting with
Harley Benton TE Modern.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest and most anticipated guitar events of 2024 was the Harley Benton ST Modern Plus. You know, sort of a bit like the Harley Benton Fusion guitars, you know, roasted maple, stainless steel frets and everything, but unlike the Fusion guitars, they weren't going for that sort of boutique Sir kind of look. They looked like, you know, just a regular Strat style guitar, but you know, with a kind of pick guard and everything, and you know, they didn't look as it wasn't all kind of flame maple veneer as well. I think some of them have, but you know, it looked a little bit more conventionally stratty than the Fusion guitars. And yeah, there was a lot of hype about those. A lot of people, you know, kind of got them and were very happy with them. Some people weren't so happy with them because, as is always the case when Harley Benton launch a new product line, there are teething problems. So, you know, I found that out when I got one of the first Fusion guitars. The Fusion T that I had recently was a far better guitar than one of the early Fusions that I had when they first came out. So the message there is wait until you know, a Generation 2 comes out. But nevertheless, what I would love to see come out in 2025 is for Harley Benton to do the same thing to a T-style guitar, to a Telecaster style guitar, that they did with the Stratocaster style guitar with the ST Modern. You know, a Telecaster style guitar with, you know, a regular Telecaster pickguard and Telecaster style bridge, you know, with some upgraded components like maybe a flame maple veneer over the top of it, definitely the roasted maple neck and the stainless steel frets and the locking tuners, and maybe a Hot Rails humbucker in the basically what I'm saying is, you know, Harley Benton, please make one of these. This is my Jet JT 350, which didn't come with stainless steel frets or a humbucker in the bridge, but I've since added both of those things to that guitar. Lovely guitar that, and it would be nice to see Harley Benton maybe making a guitar very similar to that, so I can buy one and do a comparison. What do you say, Harley Benton? Are you up for it? That's one of the things I'd like to see in the coming 12 months. Let's see what's next.
Diit Reunion.
Come on, Mark. You and the lads, you're not getting any younger. And I think even the most ardent Mark Knopfler fan would say that Mark's output since Dire Straits were no more is not as consistently. I don't think it is anyway, and I'm a big Mark Knopfler fan. His output isn't as consistently strong and good and melodic and just as good a music, I don't think, as it was when Dire Straits were a thing. Such a reunion would have to include John Illsley, and not sure who the rhythm guitarist would be. It's unlikely to be David Knopfler because, Mark and sadly his brother David are no longer on speaking terms. And, well, that's families for you. But, yeah, definitely John Illsley. And I've been watching a lot of Alchemy live stuff on, from that Alchemy. I had that VHS back in the day. And, Terry Williams on drums. If Terry's still around, I don't know, I should really have checked, shouldn't I? But if he's around and available, Mark, get Terry and John Illsley on bass. And, if you're looking for a rhythm guitarist, just saying, I can be available. I know most of the material. I can promise you that. But just maybe get Lukather to come and do, even if you just get together for a tour. I don't care if you don't record now. Just do a greatest hits tour, one last time. Sultans of Swing, Telegraph Road, Romeo and Juliet, Lady Writer, Tunnel of Love, Private Investigations. Don't feel obligated to do any of the stuff off Brothers in Arms, though. Maybe the title track. But anyway, all the rest of the stuff, yeah, I'd love to see a greatest hits tour like that because it would just be fun, wouldn't it? I certainly think it would, and I would be there. Suited and booted in a front row seat if I could get to, providing Ticketmaster cooperated. But yes, a Dire Straits reunion, that is definitely something I'd like to see before it's too late, really. Come on, Mark, get your finger out, make it happen. Next.
Satin finished necks, as opposed to relicking.
Yeah, now I know that satin necks are everywhere. It's, plenty of guitars have them, but there are still some manufacturers, vintage, I'm talking to you, that put a big, thick, gloopy gloss finish on many of their necks, and the only way you can get a satin finish on said neck is to buy the Icon series equivalent of it, because vintage guitars have the reissued series and the Icon series, basically the same guitars, but the Icon series have always got frankly a bit of a dodgy relic job done on them. But I remember that the vintage guitar that I had in here earlier this year was the V100 Les Paul copy, the Lemon Drop, the Greeny Moor kind of copy that they've done for absolutely ages now, and the neck on that felt absolutely beautiful. Properly nice kind of feeling neck, really felt played in and good, but it just had this nasty kind of obviously contrived and fake relic job done on it. If you could buy the guitar without the relic finish but with that satin feel on the neck, it's not just vintage, some other manufacturers do that as well. Harley Benton, for example, the CST 24, I just wish that came with a satin neck. More satin necks as an option on all guitars. Every time, we accept that this model is available with a maple fretboard and also with Pau Ferro or rosewood or whatever. To me, that I'm happy with either a light coloured wood fretboard or a dark coloured wood. It makes minimal difference to me. But I would just like to see, the same option for either a satin or a gloss finish on the neck available in, other manufacturers, basically vintage, but Harley Benton and a bunch of others as well. Anyway, so yeah, let's see what's next.
Stainless steel frets on more budget guitars.
Stainless steel frets on more budget guitars. Harley Benton do it. E-Art do it, Solo King do it, so it is doable at like maybe not an entry level price point. I tend to think of entry level as like kind of around the £100 mark, you know, like those Squire debut guitars that you can get on Amazon, or maybe some of the cheaper Harley Bentons, or East Coast guitars, or basically the real cheap beginners guitars. That's what I tend to think of as entry level guitars. But on the sort of what would be the next logical step up from one of those guitars, you're into things like Harley Benton fusions and jet guitars, and you know, some of the E-Arts and stuff like that. You know, and as I say, some of those manufacturers do provide a guitar at around about £200 or maybe a little bit more, a little bit less in some cases, but a little bit more as well. So let's say between £200 and £300, you can buy from several manufacturers a guitar with stainless steel frets. So if it can be done, it strikes me as being a little bit like back in about 1990. If you bought a guitar for £200, it was going to have a plywood body. That was just it. You know, that was just that's what you kind of accepted as being the norm. But then along comes the Yamaha Pacifica 112. And you remember those adverts, if you were around at the time, the back page of Guitarist magazine with the natural finish Pacifica, showing that it was made from, you know, solid alder, and then what was quite obviously a Squire Strat. They didn't show the branding, with the paint sanded off, and you could see it was made out of essentially tea-chest material. Now, whether or not the wood of a guitar's body makes any difference at all to the amplified tone, well, that debate will just go on until the cows come home. It's not about that. I just think that I mean, for instance, the Epiphone by Gibson Strat copy that was around in the late 80s, when I first started teaching guitar in the early 90s, there was one of my very early students used to have one of those, and you could see that the plywood was starting to delaminate. You know, so it's not the most noble of materials to build guitars out of, and then Yamaha just kind of pretty much killed the plywood guitar thing overnight when they brought out the Pacifica 112. Suddenly, you know, no other budget guitar manufacturer was making guitars out of plywood. So usually when a manufacturer raises the standard like that, everybody else kind of has to follow, and I would like to see that happen in the case of stainless steel frets. It can be done, and it is being done, and I just like to see it more widely adopted. But then again, you see, I like stainless steel frets. You know, I did a video on that a while ago, so I'm not going to bore you with the arguments for that particular attribute of those frets, but you know, I just like to see them more widely used. So there you go. Next,
PRS Moon inlays as an option.
Yes, this guitar, let me grab it. I'm very, very, very happy with. Again, this is another one that's had the stainless steel frets treatment from my pals at Agrajag Guitars. I used to have an S2 Standard 24 from PRS, and that was a lovely guitar, but having to readjust how I play after breaking this finger, it just was never quite as comfortable ever again. And this little SE CE 24 is a fantastic guitar. Proper, good, versatile workhorse. Looks just kind of flashy enough without straying into Liberace kind of territory, apart from the racing pigeons. You know, I've learned to live with them, but I'd be lying if I said they were my favourite aspect of that guitar. And PRS do the Moon inlays. You know, they do them on the one of the SE Dave Grissom guitars, the gold top, so it's obvious, and that costs the same as the one with the birds. So the point I'm making is it's obviously not a cost thing for PRS to put one type of inlay in as opposed to another. So I just wish they would offer that as an option. as rather than having all of the different colour options for the body, maybe cut back on one of those, kind of burst colours for on the body colour, and offer a neck with the moon inlays. I just think they look so much classier. I got to tell you, I just think it's just a little bit less blingy, but still understated and classy. And if you look closely, you see what look like dot inlays just become the phases of the moon. It's just a beautiful looking thing, I think. So that's something else I'd like to see. And that is my wish list for 2025. There's probably some on that list that you agree with, and there's probably some that you disagree with. So, vent your spleen down in the comments and tell me why I'm an idiot for thinking what I think, but it's not going to change what I think. We'll leave it there for today, folks. Let me know what your thoughts on all of this are down in the comments. Let me know what your wish list is as well, if you are so inclined. But we'll leave it there for today, and I'll just say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.